Hello and welcome to Georgia Sight's online beginner shuttle tatting class. Today I'm going to teach you how to do a thrown ring or a ring off a chain. Okay, and that's what these are, and they can be used for decorative elements or they can be used to step out on your next round for a joining element. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get started. Now, this pattern here, again, is 6 picot 6 or 6 thrown ring 6. Okay, it's 6 6 all the way through. Okay, so what we have done is we've put on 6 double stitches, okay, for the first half of that chain. Okay, and we're working on the back side of our work. Now in a previous video I showed you how to do front side, back side. Well, I'm going to continue that front side, back side, and we're going to put the thrown ring on here. Okay, now here we go. What we do is we put our 6 stitches on. We've got, at this point, when we finish that 6 stitches, we're set up for making chains. Well, now we drop this shuttle. Okay, that's our core thread. We pick up the shuttle we was making our chains with, and we loop our hand in order to accommodate our ring. Okay, let's get our thread out. Now what we want is our first double stitch of that ring to be as close to that chain as possible. Okay, so you want to hold everything really tight, and we're going to put our first half of that double stitch, which would be the second half of a double stitch because they're doing front side, back side, in. Okay, and there we have it. And we're right up next to the core thread and right up next to the chain, and we're going to do 6 of those stitches. So this would be the second stitch, third, fourth. This is Aunt Lydia's thread. I've just run into a hinky, so let's back that out. They have a name for them things. I call them hinkies because they look awful. And you know how when you get a hinky, and a hinky to me is a bruise, a bad bruise on you. So it's a bad spot. So I call them hinkies, and that's where I name them. But they do have a name for them. I don't know. I don't remember what the name is, but they do have a name for those little bumpity bumps. Okay, so we've got 1, 2. We're working on the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Now the ring has a picot in it. We're not measuring our picots. We're just learning how to do a floating ring, okay, or a thrown ring. So we're going to put a picot in. That looks plenty big enough. I like my picots to show in the demonstrations. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. We got one more to put in. If I can keep my shuttle from doing that. Okay, we've got our 6 double stitches on there. Now we're going to close that ring. Now, when you're closing your ring, okay, and you're doing a floating ring, you see where the 2 meet. As you close it, you may create a gap there. We call that gaposis. To prevent that, that is a good grab point. Okay, you want to make sure that's in the pinch. Well, while you're at it, you want the other half of that ring in there. So what I do is I put one on my middle finger and one on my index finger and take my thumb and hold them both very tight. Okay, and as it closes, you can shift it around to get it all up underneath your thumb and hold it tight while you're closing that ring. Okay, because you don't want the gap. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to set up to make the other half of that chain. Again, you want the first half of that double stitch to come in as close to the previous chain as possible. Now here's where things start getting floppy. Your piece is going to flop around. Expect it. Grip it. Excuse me. Allergies. Lord, I hate them. Alright. Anyway, back to what I was saying. When you pull that first half in, you want to pull it up there and things are going to flip around. Hold on to everything. You don't want to create gaps. And every time your tatting moves from one element to the next, you take a chance of creating a gap. Okay? Once you get that in, then you pull it all up tight and continue on with your second double stitch. And here's your third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And we have all of our stitches in. We want to tighten our chain up, turn it over, and we have our thrown ring. Okay? And there it is. It comes off of a chain. It's also called a floating ring. Alright? There's many, many names for it. Thrown off ring, thrown ring, and floating ring are the most common. And if you've got a pattern that has initials TR, that means thrown ring, or an FR, that means floating ring. They are the same thing. You just want to prevent your gaps. Okay? And it's worked the same way as you normally do a regular ring. The only difference is you're coming off of a chain with it. So until the next video, I hope this one helped you to understand how to do a thrown ring or a floating ring. So happy tatting, have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.